Cool. Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, Corey David, and today we have a very special guest with us. Is Will Curtin from Banded Oak Brewing Company. What up, dog?
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Well, a lot. I mean, I was in New York last week, which was really, really fun.
Nice.
And then I'm in Houston this coming week. I don't know exactly when this episode's going to come out, so it might not be relevant to the people that are listening to it. And then I'm going to be in Vietnam. So that's been my whole life in the past couple weeks.
Sounds nuts.
Well, just kind of getting ready to
sure.
do that. I mean, you said you've traveled overseas, specifically in Southeast Asia before, right?
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. No, I was in Thailand a while ago for about 5 weeks. It was insane.
Especially because you had a bad experience while you were there.
I did. No, I did a dumb thing.
Did a bad thing.
I did a bad thing. No, I was really nervous. I was going from LA to Hong Kong. It was a 17-and-a-half-hour flight. And I didn't really sleep very well, kind of on purpose, and had a couple drinks and a full meal and passed out for about 10 and a half hours.
Yeah.
And when I landed, I had a blood clot.
Which it seems, I know we talked about this earlier off the show, but it just seems like a 10-hour sleep is ideal. Right. Because the goal would be to just straight teleport to wherever the fuck you're going.
Right. Well, it was really funny when I actually got to the hospital.
I'll be the judge of that.
Fair enough. Multiple funny things happened just in kind of Thailand and the hospital experience. They said, Caucasians, white boys, they were like, oh, we only kind of see, white boys for two reasons, and that's motorcycle crashes and blood clots.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody's got their prejudice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've all got our things.
Totally. The other funny thing was I guess you're in a doctor hospital setting, and they have to check if everything's working right. And so, you got to pee and poo. And typically in the U.S., it's, bowel movement, a BM. Like, have you had a BM today is a typical
it's good
hospital
question.
Totally. Yeah. I don't think bowel movement really transferred to this doctor's English education. So it was like very serious. And he kind of came in and he was like, so have you peed today? And I was like, yeah. He's like, did you poop? I was like, no, haven't pooped.
Yeah, not yet. And so, was there a problem with you not pooping?
Not that day. No, it was fine. I just hadn't pooped at that moment.
So
everything was totally
were you just
fine.
more like aghast that he didn't have the technical term?
A little bit. As a doctor, white coat, all that kind of stuff is very serious.
Yeah,
this is your health. And it was like, did you poop? Did we have a poop today?
Well, speaking of poop, I actually had. Just something I needed somebody else's opinion on.
Yeah.
You're married.
Yep.
Do you fart in front of your wife?
Absolutely.
Does she fart in front of you?
Not so much.
Okay, not so much.
Yeah.
Would you ever feel comfortable enough to send an audio recording of your fart to your wife?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, great.
Totally.
Yeah, me too. So I was just curious of whether or not that was like totally acceptable or not, because it's just like my girlfriend and I fart in front of each other.
Fair enough.
All the time because it's funny.
Yeah.
I will always be an advocate of a well-timed fart is the funniest thing.
It's timeless.
On the planet. So she asked me to send her an audio recording of this message that I wanted to send her, and then right after that, I just followed it up with this beautiful chef's kiss 7-second fart.
Wow, that's impressive.
It was. Right. I mean, it's not that impressive in the grand scheme of things, but
a solid get as audio recordings go.
I really just wasn't sure if that was something that was like, am I a monster or is this like, oh, you're so sweet,
Yeah, I mean, it was upon request, so you can't be.
The fart wasn't upon request.
Yeah. But the audio of said fart. Which is adorable.
I just think it's really fun.
Yeah, totally.
So just to let everybody know about you and what you do, just tell them a little bit about like your story. Like, so how long have you guys been running Banded Oak Brewing?
Banded Oak opened in 2016. So yeah, we've been here coming up on 7 years.
Yeah.
That math checks out.
And then just a little, I guess, background is that we run the comedy show, Late Night Comedy, here at Banded Oak. When we do Interrogation True Crime Stories in Denver, it's at Banded Oak Brewing. And we've been working together for a little over a year, probably about a year and a half now. Right?
Totally.
Yeah. So that's just for people to know.
Yeah, no, I mean, people who are, sort of familiar with Banded Oak, we had a really small building and a really small brew space, and we ran out of space.
Yeah.
And so the back room where we now have comedy is where we used to brew. So, the back room is open. We got a ton of seating back here. So
I remember
really nice.
doing that Rotating Tap podcast with you guys, and we, he had all the brewing equipment back here, right? Yep. And you're like, well, we're going to get rid of this, and we'd like to start doing something. And then Steve and I just kind of dragged our feet on it. And then when Steve and I were weren't really working together anymore, I came over just to check out the space. And it's honestly, it's perfect for a comedy show. Good.
You want to have that, it's not a stage on the level. You can see the comedian. It's a very intimate setting. One of my favorite, kind of places to see comedy. Very reminiscent of, kind of Downtown Comedy Works, or just really shoulder to shoulder. You can really catch the nuances of what comedians are trying to convey and all that.
Yeah, and I like the fact that it feels like you're in a garage. You know what I mean? Because we do have the garage doors. Yeah. It just feels very DIY, kind of grungy. And I mean, when we pack this place out, people ask me, like, what are some of your favorite shows in Denver? And we've had some shows here, and when we have this place full, like, honestly, this is one of, if not my favorite show. Not because like I host it and we do it together or whatever, but it's really fun to have everybody just on top of each other. It doesn't feel too formal, you know?
Agreed.
It just seems like everybody's just here to kind of have a house party kind of vibe.
And absolutely. And it was a brew space, so it is a little raw. There are a lot of hard surfaces, and I remember when we did our year kind of celebration, and it was a Derek Stroop.
Yeah, Stroop was headlining it.
Crushed it. Like, the amount of just echoing laughter that came from his set we have concrete floors and glass, and this room was so loud.
Around. Yeah, it's crazy.
And it was such a good show. Just the way he makes you laugh so many times in repetition. He crushed it that night. It was super fun.
Yeah, Derek's one of the most. I think he's one of the best comics in Colorado, and check him out like on Instagram and Facebook and everything else. He just released his Dry Bar just came out. And are you familiar with Dry Bar?
I'm not.
Okay, so it's this kind of like clean comedy special thing that they put on the internet.
Interesting.
It's the same people that own Wise Guys comedy clubs out in Utah, and they promote it, and it's a subscription-based model kind of thing.
Okay.
But getting one's a big deal. They have a huge following, right? But it kind of flies under the radar. And his just came out. But what's interesting is that his came out like he recorded it like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Right.
So I watched it and I talked to him about it afterwards. It's just so funny because he's such a different comic now. Not that he's not like I always say he's a combination of Lewis Black and Larry the Cable Guy.
Fair.
And it's not that he doesn't do that, but the material isn't what it is now, right? So it's just very interesting to record something 3 years ago, finally gets released, and it's supposed to be a really big deal. It's not that it isn't, but yeah, it's just kind of an odd.
No, I mean, his kind of southern take on stuff really in a hilarious way hits home. I was born and raised in Alabama, and I think he might be from Bama or somewhere in the South.
No, he's from Alabama.
Yeah. And man, just some of his hot sauce bits I've just been ridiculous. So
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Fun. All right, well, let's get into some dumb crimes that I found on the internet really quick. Just I'm excited to have you on, man. Like when you told me you were interested in being on the show, I was like, yeah, of course I'd love to have you because you're good at bantering, but I didn't know you had anything you wanted to talk about. So let's see what your riffing skills are.
I'm down. Let's see.
All right, so a pigeon carrying a miniature backpack filled with drugs was captured in a prison yard. Any first impressions?
Innovative.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Well, I also think that it's really fun that somebody in arts and crafts class in prison was like, I'm going to make a tiny backpack.
Yep.
For my pigeon.
From pigeon.
Yeah.
And running drugs. Not messages.
But also, a sense of like they were kind of making it for a doll, you know? Like how did the amount of time and I hope care, is this like a Topo backpack that they like made for this?
Totally.
How fashionable was the, like when they say backpack, was it really just like a little bag with some string on it, or did they design a mini model for this pigeon to have that was like all the other pigeons are like, dude, that's a tight backpack.
That's a tight bag, yeah. You just got to scale that up.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like, you know, Shawshank, like Andy Dufresne, you know, like he's got a little pickaxe that is like, oh yeah, I can't get out of here. It's for my jewels.
Yeah.
And then he breaks out of prison with that axe. It's pretty impressive. But
but not a great pigeon. You obviously didn't pick a good pigeon.
Yeah, pigeon got caught
in the yard. It didn't even make it out of the fence.
And did it snitch on its probably. Is that a snitching pigeon?
Yeah, I was gonna say it told on all the other pigeons.
It's a prison pigeon. It's got a shank and everything in its backpack.
Oh, that bird's dead as fuck.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That bird is definitely dead. If a sniper didn't shoot it out of a tower, you bet to believe that he's gonna have a tough time in the shower that week. He's not gonna look good in front of his pigeon friends.
No.
But how much drugs could you actually peddle out of a pigeon backpack?
Cam, I mean, what kind of, you're talking about like?
Is it even worth it? Where's
heroin?
Where's the pigeon supposed to be going? Is it just to another cell?
That's a solid question. And what does a pigeon with a backpack look in flight? Like you would probably be like,
fuck, dude. Just hip.
You would definitely second guess yourself. Like, no way, I just saw that. Absolutely no way.
Yeah. So the bird was caught working the rec yard. Is what they said. The bird was caught at Pacific Institution in Abbotsford, about 50 miles east of Vancouver. A spokesperson for the Union of Canadian Correctional Officers said a tiny fabric backpack tied to the pigeon contained crystal meth.
Always meth.
Which is great. And what a lot of people don't realize is that if you've done Molly at least 3 times in your life, you have also done crystal meth. Like that is
very small amount, fractional amount.
Yeah, but you have done it.
Right.
Yeah, because people are like, oh, meth's gross. I'm like, I feel like a lot of people have done meth. Like everybody's on Adderall, and then if you've done Molly at all, like you've done a touch of crystal meth.
Agreed. Absolutely. I mean, one's legal, one's not, but it's the same experience.
One's legal, one's not. Yeah, I love ripping Molly and just doing work, doing homework and cleaning my house. Right. Actually, it is pretty fun.
Or you think about meth of just like taking apart a television with no intention of putting it back together.
Have you ever done Molly before?
I've not.
Never? Okay.
No.
All right, well, we can do that some other time.
No, it was really interesting. In college, I like randomly had to come up with like funny jokes to not do other drugs other than weed, just because I just wanted to smoke weed.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those things. Alcohol and weed, fun enough.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh, I want to do mushrooms.
Those just were your things, yeah.
Right. And the joke I came up with, I don't know if it's good or bad.
Doesn't matter.
Was like, I love weed so much that if I did another drug, I'd feel like I was cheating on a girlfriend. I don't know if that's a good one. Everyone laughed, and it just, subject moved on.
Yeah, you're just looking for an out.
Right.
Really.
And it worked.
Yeah, but you never really wanted to dabble in doing anything?
Not really.
What if a bird showed up to your house
and was like, do this meth?
Not even do, but you're like, why is this happening? Clearly this was sent to me. Yeah.
Right. Have a good time.
Yeah, like a raven in Game of Thrones. There's a message, and the message is hard drugs.
Yes.
You're like, who are you to tell anybody no?
I don't know. I always thought like, if I ever had like a terminal diagnosis, like you have doctors are saying 6 months, I'd probably be like, I want to do meth, just once.
Yeah,
the commercial is never once, but just once.
I mean, I've definitely thought about how heroin's got to be fucking awesome. Like it's gotta be so good. I've never done it.
So good, you're gonna wreck your life.
Yeah, I mean the lengths that people go to.
They call it touching God's eyes. Like that sounds.
Why can't we have like a digestible version of that? Why does it have to be full blown heroin? Like can't we just have like a mild version of it? That's what Oxycontin
probably
is, right?
Yeah. I mean they're very addictive.
Oh yeah,
it's probably that much fun.
That's what I'm saying. Like why do I have to have consequences for just like enjoying myself?
Yeah. everything in moderation. If you can enjoy yourself for a weekend and never do it again, then you won't wreck your life and empty your bank account and all that stuff.
So this bird was spotted by correctional officers, I believe, and security intelligence officers when the officers were doing their standard patrols around and throughout the unit and institution. This is a terrible quote. That's when they initially spotted the bird with the package on it. The officers then set up a trap.
Wow.
To capture it.
Alive.
Just
so they did not shoot it out of the air.
Not.
I would have.
Dude, could you imagine just working at a prison? And this is probably like the most fun that they've had in a long time.
Like the respective life for the bird is impressive.
Trying to figure out how to catch this goddamn pigeon.
Like, I'm going to beat the shit out of an inmate later, but this pigeon's life is just a bridge too far for me to take. For sure.
Yeah. Did you ever try to catch an animal when you were a kid?
Like a snare or something?
Yeah.
Or
maybe.
I
remember we tried that at one point in time, like just in our
never
backyard. Worked. But there was no reason for an animal we didn't have a lot of animals, just like running around.
We had like squirrels in the bird feeder that we shoot with like a paintball gun, but we never like, trap them.
But how long are you going to sit and look at a box to pull a string?
Yeah.
Yeah, kids, your attention span's 10 minutes. You're like, all right, I'm going to go play.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
I mean, a prison guard, their attention span is
That's what I'm saying. These
infinite.
guys have nothing but time.
Right.
Like, literally nothing but time. So in recent years, officers have been on the lookout for drones that might be carrying drugs or other illegal goods.
Fair. Yeah.
The 13-year corrections officer said that this was the first time he'd heard of a live bird being used for that purpose. Oh, so what I'm thinking, somebody from outside the prison.
Okay.
Was the one that like
saw the backpack.
No, was sending the bird into the prison.
Yeah.
That's not what I was thinking initially.
You were thinking prison to prison.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm thinking Shawshank as well, where people just have pet birds and stuff.
Yeah, you can make toilet drugs like toilet Merlot and just totally.
Yeah, just put a decanter on the back of a pigeon.
Totally.
And just like, hey, I know you guys have been really enjoying these Italian and French wines, but wait till you have a taste
Shawshank,
of this toilet
Pinot
wine that I've had, but you just get a sample. You don't get the whole thing, not a whole bottle, but it's you have to order it it's pre-release, pre-order. That's so dumb.
That's so ridiculous. I mean, it's ballsy. It's a gutsy move.
It's great. This one's a local crime. So 2 prized pigs stolen from the Denver stock show. Did you hear about this one?
I did not. That sucks.
Okay, so I'll post a picture of this with the Instagram post. But I'm just going to read through this really quick, and then we'll talk about it. The Denver police needs your assistance to identify the suspects who were involved in a motor vehicle theft. Truck was stolen on January 15th. The suspect stole a truck in a white and tan 350 and a trailer. Inside the trailer are the above pictures of 2 prized pigs.
Brutal.
Some pig,
Some pig.
Just like a blue ribbon pig. Anyone with information regarding this incident is asked to please contact Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. So, who's stealing pigs? Why are you stealing a pig?
What prizes are these pigs winning?
I mean, it's a stock show, dude. This is like the biggest game in town.
For sure.
Like, if you're a pig,
so like pig,
you look forward to this day.
Like the breeding type.
The entire year. Oh, I don't know. I think just sexy pigs.
All right.
Yeah, I think just hot pigs.
Hot pigs.
Yeah, it's just
people that are not real worked up about these pigs.
Not even pig, and not even people that like pigs. It's just pig on pig action. You're like, hey, that's a hot ass pig. It deserves a ribbon.
Totally.
Not even anybody that wants to do anything nefarious with the pigs.
Strangely attractive pig.
Objectively hot pig.
Right. That happens.
Yeah, it's like with men. I don't want to fuck any guys.
They're good looking guys.
But I was like, hey, you're a good looking dude, Will. Yeah. That's a good looking pig. Look at this one. It's got fun polka dots on it.
Stock show's a different thing. I love it.
So what's interesting is that so there's a lot of things happening here. The crime alert that was sent out by the Denver PD it looks like it was made with like 1980s clip art.
The different colored font.
Different colored fonts. Nothing's aligned.
Right. Definitely made by a police, for sure.
Yeah. They just have a template that they've been fucking inserting text and pictures into for a really long time.
That's ridiculous.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, like, the Denver PD needs a graphic designer.
And if you're that thief that just wants a big Ford truck and all of a sudden it's got prize pigs in it.
That's the thing, is I don't think they were trying to steal the pigs.
No, they wanted that truck.
They just wanted the truck, and then they opened the trailer. They're like, shit.
These are good-looking pigs.
Stealing.
People are going to miss these pigs.
And then all of a sudden you're like, these are some fucking hot-ass pigs.
Yeah, God, they are.
God damn.
Real attractive.
I don't even want to cook these motherfuckers. I'm just enjoying their presence,
totally.
really.
They're
now
just
you've got
nice
a
to be
harem.
around.
There's two.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it'd be like stealing a car and there's a body in the back. You're just like, shit. What do I do with these pigs? Do you just let them go? Like you just want, because if you steal, I think the pigs were recovered.
Oh, good.
But the truck was not.
Right.
But then now all of a sudden there's just two pigs in the wild, and you're like, no, that's a prize pig.
Do you drop them off at like a fire station like you would a baby if you don't want it?
Well, I think they just work the lots now. You know, they're off the highway.
Just free. Yeah.
They're just freak. They're just freaking.
Maybe feral pigs, and then looking closer, like, that's not feral. That's a good looking pig.
Yeah, at this point, they've lived in captivity their entire lives.
Yeah, they wouldn't last long.
They're just looking to turn a trick,
right?
You know, outside of the come and go.
Whatever you can do to survive.
Off the highway. Oh, shit. All right, bro. So I know you had a story that you wanted to share with us today. So that wraps up our dumb crimes that I found on the internet.
Cool.
Yeah, what do you got for us?
So, interesting kind of, I don't know. I wouldn't say I was like a kleptomaniac as a kid. It definitely didn't happen often. It happened more out of boredom.
Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Alabama.
Yeah.
Born and raised.
Burbs, city, what?
Little outside of Birmingham. I mean, Birmingham's not that big of a city. It's
not
the biggest
city, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it was this weird thing. One of the first times ever was international. My mom is obsessed with kind of French culture. Mm-hmm. And so wine and, fashion. Not fashion.
One of those like fun hats?
Not so much.
What are those called?
I don't know.
Fun
hats.
like a French hat. Like it's kind of like a billy cap, like a cap kind of thing.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking of like, I don't know, hats you'd wear at like a horse race or some shit.
No. I'll look it up. You keep talking.
But so we were delayed in the Paris airport. Okay. I forget exactly which one it was. And so I was just going around in duty free and what is that? Oh, a beret.
A beret.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, definitely not berets.
You said French fashions.
Yeah.
Like,
fair enough.
All right.
And so I was in the duty free. I was a kid. Man, maybe I was like 13, maybe 12. Anyway, Swatch was a big deal. Swatch watches.
Yeah, I remember.
Just, super ridiculous, multicolors, all this kind of stuff. And there was this one that was like super thin. They call it like a Swatch skin. And
it's like a nice Casio.
Yes.
Better
super
Casio.
Classy
Digital
Casio.
Or dial?
No, it was dial.
Okay.
But super thin, kind of cool. I remember like looking at the line and just being like, that's a little too long. I'm just like lazy. I'll just take it.
Okay.
Just put it in my pocket.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know why. Just because I was a shit kid.
I mean, because it's easy and it's fun.
And so I pulled that out of its little container and put it in my pocket and went through the little upright little security things.
Yeah.
And it beeps.
Okay.
And I'm like about to shit my pants.
How old are you?
I think I was 12.
Oh, yeah. So you don't have the wherewithal to just know to just go.
Right.
Just
knowing,
just
I mean,
keep
in an
walking.
airport, this is super dumb. Mm-hmm. Like the repercussions on this are not worth, however.
Honestly,
$60.
airport crimes are the best ones because you're leaving in an hour.
Right.
You're
just gonna mic drop the country.
I'm out of the state. I'm out of the country.
Right.
I steal stuff from airports all the time.
Fair enough.
All the time.
So the guard is French. I don't speak any French. He is speaking to me like, come back, my hand motions and things. He takes my backpack, runs it through the little uprights or whatever they're called, the security detectors. Nothing goes off. He asked me to walk through. I walk through. Nothing goes off.
I was hoping that he would like pick you up like the backpack and then move you through just like swaying you around.
The French are they're passive people. They're not not aggressors ever in history.
All right. Not big on the Catholic Church.
No.
Okay.
And by the absolute grace of random luck, he just told me to go.
It just didn't go off again.
It didn't go off again.
Okay. Now, did you ever? Do you still have the watch?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. Dead battery, but I still have it.
Yeah, I don't have none of my watches work.
Yeah.
I have 5 watches. None of them work.
Yeah.
Except for the Casio that I'm wearing right
forever.
now. Yeah. Until I break it, this thing will live. Do you wear it for special occasions? Where you want to feel like a bad boy?
Like I saw it the other day in like a box and somewhere in my closet or something. But I need to just replace the battery and wear it again. But I mean, it's beat up for sure.
Sure, it's weathered. You had it since you were 12 years old.
Yeah,
that's a long time to have anything. I was actually just having a mental memory bank today of some of the things that I've owned the longest. You know? And I think the oldest thing that I own is a shirt that I have from college. So a swatch from, because you're like 60, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Just turned 40. But 60, to me, it's about the same.
At that point, it's just a number.
Just round up.
Yeah, of course.
Totally fine.
So that's, damn, dude, that's a long ass, 28 years to have a watch? Yeah. That's insane. So did your klepto streak continue?
It did not. That was definitely a wake-up call. That, like, as I left, I sort of mentally went through, like, if I would have gotten, like, found out
you're in
or
jail
arrested.
In Paris.
And was like, this is fucking dumb.
But they only serve you baguettes for the rest of your goddamn life.
Exactly. Baguettes and wine for every meal.
So, I mean, honestly, out of all the prison experiences, that doesn't sound terrible.
No.
So you weren't a klepto anymore, but like, what were you like in college or just growing up? Like, did you party? Did you get into trouble? Like, who were you as a person?
I was definitely, So I went to Elon in North Carolina, which was a huge Greek school.
Okay.
And I just didn't like Greek life for whatever reason. So I was a GDI. What do they call it?
At first I was thinking like, tzatziki rules. Like I didn't realize.
No, like the Greek, system.
I love olive leaves.
Right. So I was a goddamn independent, as they call it.
Yeah.
Didn't join a fraternity.
So you weren't like a huge partier or anything?
We did. We were the only like non-Greek party house.
Oh, okay.
On campus.
And you never had the cops called on a house party?
A couple times, yeah. Like it was really funny actually. Like when I was like freshman, sophomore, they'd have these houses with these kind of in the backyard to be all these people and drinking off a keg or whatever.
Totally.
And the cops would just come and like flash their lights, and everyone would just be like, "Don't run, don't run." And you'd see one person run. And they would chase that one person.
Oh my God.
And it was just like this like test of nerves. Like, I'm good.
That's amazing that they had the wherewithal to say like, hey, if they flicked the lights and nobody moved, did they fuck with you?
Not really.
Okay.
No. It was a rookie move. To run was a dumb move.
Yeah, they literally will just like, hey, we're here. And then if you try to make a scene, we're going to go take care of it.
Totally. And it happened multiple times. Well, like that, and like there was alumni weekend that the cops were just idiots, and they didn't realize that like parents would kind of party with their kids
on alumni weekend. Yeah,
right. And there was this one kind of area, student housing that only had one exit, and this huge party was at the very end, kind of cul-de-sac area, and they broke it up, and then did a DUI checkpoint at the one exit.
What?
And I want to say it was like 10 parents got DUIs.
God, that's so fucked because they're just trying to relive their glory days.
Yeah, just trying to drink a couple with their kids.
Yeah. Right? And it doesn't take that much to get over the limit.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, small town, hotels are very close. And I'm not saying they should have drove.
Actually, where do you stand on this? Like, so the legal limit's like 0.08 in most places, right? Should you be allowed to drink in your car if you're still under 0.08?
Drink in your car?
Yeah.
Like while you're driving?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Why the fuck not?
Yeah, I mean, if you're under the limit.
If you're under the limit, you're under the limit.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's fine.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's a big deal.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Like Denver, you have Vegas, you have New Orleans, of these like large swaths of land that are open container. Mm-hmm. And then I remember distinctly the Source, when they first opened up, there were lines on the ground of liquor licenses. So the Source was one of the first like multi-use that I remember.
Okay.
In my kind of Denver experience.
Yeah.
Where you had, restaurants, you had a bakery, you had and then in the middle was a bar.
Yes.
And they didn't want their liquor licenses to go. You couldn't just get a drink and go shopping. There was a yellow line around the bar that you couldn't take a drink over.
Oh, yeah.
And so
okay.
Milk Market has changed that. And I remember reading when Milk Market made it okay to go through separate businesses to have a cocktail or a drink, whatever. Before, I guess the city council member, whoever the hell it was, who decided on this was like, we are not New Orleans. And then like...
That's so fucked. Like, I hate shit like that. Especially because Denver is not a great walkable city to begin with.
No.
There's not a lot of great reasons to like walk from one neighborhood to another. I'm a huge advocate for being able to just drink outside. Like, grab a beer at this place and then go walk around a cool neighborhood.
Agreed.
I don't understand why more places don't do that, particularly here. It's really dumb. I mean, they've done it in a few spots, like on Larimer and Rhino.
Right.
They've done it in Arvada. I'm trying to think if there's any other spots like in the city that they've popularized it in, but it's so dumb to me. Like, all right, as long as you're not over the limit and you're not making a scene, who gives a shit?
Well, and it all puts it in perspective during COVID when we had to be to-go only. People would... there are George Floyd protests at the Capitol. You can see 2 or 3 helicopters in the sky covering all this. Mm-hmm. And it just puts it in perspective. Like, people in the neighborhood would come and get a beer and be like, are you cool with me cracking this and walking home? And I was like, I think the police have other stuff to worry about than like you walking home enjoying
with an open beer. Yeah.
It's like, if someone says like, hey man, you should, I'd be like, you got bigger fish to fry right now. Like, I'm sorry.
I still don't. I mean, that's just such a Christian law, and I know that like certain states, like it makes more sense that there are more Christian laws because they're very a little bit more conservative or whatever. But it just seems so goddamn outdated. Like, if somebody wants to buy a crowler here, and then just walk home with it and sip on it while they're walking home, like, what does it matter?
Not at all.
I don't think it matters at all. All right, well, I'm not running for mayor anytime soon, but
yeah, it's just odd. I don't know. I think I remember walking downtown. I used to live downtown, and it was right by Coors Field, and they block off Blake, and because there was a game happening, like at Coors Field or whatever, and there was a cop looking at me, and I didn't have the walk. I will fully admit I didn't have the walk. Mm-hmm. I looked down the street. No one is coming.
Yeah.
I look at the cop. I look at the street. Look at the cop. Look at the street. He not exactly gave me the go-ahead, but I walked.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I jaywalked. Totally. Right. And he was like, hey, man, I need to talk to you right now.
God. Use the opportunity to be a good person, right. Not like a...
And I was just feeling honest and was like, hey, man, if you ever wonder why people don't like cops, it's this exchange right here.
Right.
Like, I didn't run out in front of a car. I was being safe. Yes, you got me. Letter of the law, I jaywalked.
Right.
But, like, really?
It's the being inhuman part about it, right? And it's ulterior motives, and it's that kind of stuff. It's just that
bully, I have power, you don't.
I remember getting pulled over one time and somebody, like, my headlight was out. And this is total white privilege. Like, I had just replaced one of my headlights, and the guy said, "Oh, your headlight's out." And I said, "Can I look?"
Sure. Yeah.
Because I was like, I literally just replaced it, right? So I'm like, "Are you real? Are you like actually trying to pull something on me right now?" And I go out and. Like, as it would turn out, the other one is actually out, right? I'm like, shit. And I said that to him. I'm like, I literally just replaced that one. Yeah. I got back in the car. I wasn't trying to make a big stink out of it. And then he asked me, have you done any narcotics tonight?
That was a couple steps up.
I haven't even heard that word in a while. You know, like, did you just have that in a briefing today?
Have you had a beer today?
Yeah.
Like, totally blew past that. Have you done any heart needle drugs this evening?
Yeah, I'm just like, did you just hear the word narcotics like in a brief or a meeting today or whatever, and you just decided to throw that out there?
Yeah, I dabbled.
Also, I went to state school. You're trusting me a lot to know all of the narcotics that are out there. You know,
Yeah.
Like, I love drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know which ones of them are narcotics or.
Yeah, pills or needles. That's all I got. That's all I know.
Yeah, am I snorting it, huffing it, and eating it?
Talking about like put it on my nose.
Like,
Like,
I don't really know.
mean,
Yeah, I agree. It just seemed the cops don't make it easy to want to root for them at times. But I still I try to do my best to just be respectful, right?
Agreed.
In the
Totally.
opportunities that present themselves. But I also understand that there are times where I can get away with some shit that a lot of other people can't. I was doing a show in Winter Park on Friday. There was a cop that just showed up after the show was done, and I'm feeling great. We just had a fun show, and I made some good money, and I'm walking out, and I know the bartenders were kind of like, oh, cops here. You know, they were stressed out about it. Okay. I started busting the dude's balls immediately. As soon as we start, leaving the venue. Because I'm not saying anything disrespectful, but it was kind of like, you missed the show. I'm a pretty funny guy. What are you doing here? You know, you didn't buy a ticket. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he proceeded to tell me a terrible joke, a really bad one.
You said you were a comedian, so he wanted a bad joke?
Yeah, because I was just telling them,
I
was kind of just trying to be hey, yeah, we had a comedy show going on tonight. In a way, putting some tension relief off of the people that worked there.
Totally.
And without being a problem. And he told me a bad joke about how he's from Philadelphia. It's you know what we do to guys that get beat up that are Cowboys fans in Philadelphia? We just leave them. That was the joke. That was
interesting.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
It's a hard punchline.
Yeah, not great. Not a big twist. Anything that shows any comedic timing or effect or anything like that. And we're walking away. He left. Right after that, he actually did leave. You know, because I think they needed that little bit of a reprieve in the conversation for him to be all right, somebody else is noticing that it's weird that I'm here. Yeah. Because he didn't have any reason to be there. And he goes outside. We're walking to the car. And he just goes, hey, Cowboys fan.
Oh, jeez.
I was just okay.
Yeah. God. Use your taser, not your gun, please.
Yeah, right. I'm just so wait, are you just making a joke about police brutality right now and then just really being okay with it?
Unreal. Yeah, that was tone deaf as hell.
Yeah, was that a surprise?
No.
No, not at all.
No. Ridiculous.
All right. Well, hey, man, let's get out of here.
Cool.
Thank you very much for joining the show.
Of course.
I love running our comedy show here, and I appreciate so much that you have been supportive and a fan and just really on board with whatever we want to try to do here. So if you haven't checked it out yet, late night comedy, second Fridays of every month. And we do interrogation here occasionally. But yeah, I don't know. Just check out Banded Oak's Instagram and Facebook for show updates. And come down and try the beers. They're really great. The beers are fantastic. The people that work here are really cool. And I just, I love the stuff you guys have going on at the brewery.
Thanks, man.
So,
yeah, we appreciate it. Comedy and beer goes together unbelievably well. Each one enhances the other. So I'm all about it for sure.
All right, man.
Right on.
Thanks.
Thank you, Corey.